Fácil. Esta? Convém. Não, mas convém. Este aqui, não é? O que está a aparecer aqui é o que está a ser visto. Quer ver mais alguma? Então,
Eu não tenho pênis, não.
é só porque ele, como deu aqui um erro, isto é só para corrigir o
Então
erro e
ainda
para não
bem,
dar.
ainda bem. Nada com ela. Ela é tão velhinha.
É este aqui. Mas este é o conteúdo da pena. As pastas. É aqui sim. Quero ver se está.
Tipo, está bem, está bem.
E tem o.
Está na apresentação.
Está lá incluído. Ou é só o link? Está lá o vídeo também?
Não, sim.
Agora aqui buscar ao meio. E depois eu. É,
Já apresentei isto várias vezes. Ah, não está? E agora o carrego? Se calhar o meu computador não. Está ótimo. A sua apresentação vai ser assim. Vai.
Não sei depois qual é o timing.
Também isto é fácil. É fácil.
Assim, se quiser. Passar o vídeo, não sei também.
Diga-me, eu em termos técnicos não sou a pessoa mais.
Mas está dentro da apresentação vídeo? Ou
Aqui, esta. O meu chefe mandou-me esse slide. Se quiseres, passa aí. É sempre um risco.
Não confirmaram.
Olá, sou o Pedro. Quer saber quanto vale o seu carro? Vá a compramos-o-seu-carro.pt.
Depois não sei se aparece alguma publicidade, entretanto.
Não há outra maneira. Em termos técnicos, não sei como é que é. Eu não queria pôr na apresentação porque isto.
Não deve ser assim. Muita coisa.
Mas é possível. A outra versão, a versão que está.
Sim. Podes colocar só referência. Fosse cá.
Sim. Portanto, não sei se estás a.
Pois. Ok. Está bem. Ok. Falta. É nossa. Ok. Está bem. Então pronto. É da. Só estou aqui nesta gestão. Olha. Uma rapariga. Acho que está claro. Sim, não está cá ainda. Só ser para a tarde. Não, isto era uma. Para
Morning. Okay. You already tasted here or no? Okay, if you have a USB, I appreciate. Yes, yes, I'm going. Number 2. Yes, yes, I'm going to open this. Then I'm going to. I'll give you. I'll give you.
Forte.
Fórum China-Portugal. Só pôr a ordem. Eu não estou a encontrar. A recepção, sim. Pois, mas nós... Mas eu vou ver se eu encontro e depois já trago. Nossa. Devia estar nos guests, mas eu já encontro o seu, está bem? Se encontra o seu. Já viu se estava tudo em conformidade? 17 páginas, não é? Está bem.
Os oradores. Mas aqui já está tudo. Já está aqui tudo no PC. Tem vindo cá.
Não. As apresentações das biografias.
Isso é para quem? Não. É um tablet ou algo assim do género. Muito bem.
Não, a questão não é essa. Ó Gonçalo, consegues enviar por e-mail, por WhatsApp, o WeChat?
O chat não tenho, vou mandar para cima.
Ok, aí Gonçalo will send to me. I will send to you have it. WeChat. Eh? What? Não. Okay. Uh, you have, you can, or copy? Yes, you can take a picture. Oh.
Yes,
Mouse.
it's you need a paper. Oh, just take a picture.
Like that. Yes. You know. First one, Ana Paula Martins. Okay? Second one, Ana Varela. More easy like that.
Second one.
Yes.
What else?
Yes. Ana Varela?
Yeah.
And then we need to list the Professor Beatriz. Pedro? Oi. Lá isto com ela.
Não, dê-me o seu telefone como eu disse para o chefe.
Ah,
This is Henrique.
and the second. This is the person.
The person?
Second half.
What is this one? Pedro.
That's for the second.
Yes, but wait, because this is full.
Obrigado. I'll put it in a way to show.
This one?
Yeah, I can take this, or can I? Here, now you can find it. Here you can see everything. See the title, but nothing below this. And you have the other ones? Have the first one. This one I don't
yeah,
know. I just don't have
yeah,
one
I
from
have,
Prof.
I
Beatriz,
think
but
I have.
and just yeah, that's the first one. And in the meantime, I'll find you the one. You're missing this one. Prof. Beatriz.
Yeah, I already have.
You have that one?
Yeah.
So you have everything.
If you
for
can
the first one.
update it one.
Where?
Updated. Yeah. I think I previously already had
Okay.
email, but I don't know.
I don't have it.
Latest one.
I don't have it in this file,
Okay, no problem.
but I
Forget
can
it.
take care of it in the meantime if you
Forget
want
it.
to.
Forget it.
And you have these two. The other
I
ones
don't
you should
have.
have.
I don't have this.
Yes, you do. This one is this one here. Pedro Rivera. It's the one you just took a picture of. Last picture you took.
Oh.
Pedro Rivera da Silva.
So I don't have this. I don't.
Yes, you do. That's also here. So this is the first one. Yeah.
And okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
This one
I have-
is here.
I have this,
You have this,
this, and
one.
this.
These two. Yeah. All of
These
these.
two. This two.
Yeah. Pedro Rivera da Silva.
Oh, I didn't take the picture. No. Yeah, I
Pedro
didn't.
Rivera da Silva. Can you check your pictures, please, so that we can
Say-
sure.
It's difficult to
Yeah,
remember
it's
the
easier
name.
this way. Yes. Pedro Rivera da Silva. You have this one. Go to the next one. That one is the one you can erase that one because that one had this bar over the text, so you can delete that one. That one doesn't matter.
I have, this is the same.
This is Ana Varela. You have that one. Ana Paula Martins. Let me just check if you. Yeah, you have everything, I guess.
Martins, the first, the second, the third.
Now you're missing Enrique. Okay.
Yeah.
Missing this one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome.
Pedro. Good morning. Good morning. Let's start the second day of this forum. Professor Qiu Hongsheng will moderate this section. Welcome, Professor.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hongsheng Cui from Beijing University of Chinese Medicine, affiliated, the third affiliated hospital. Today is my great honor to host this scientific session about the standards, regulation, and education in medicinal plants and clinical application and integration of traditional medicine. The first speech is from Professor Anna Paula Martins. And Anna Paula Martins is a pharmacist, PhD in pharmacognosy and phytochemistry, quality assessor of medicines for the scientific evaluation unit of the medicines evaluation department, and is also a member of the Committee on Herbal Medicinal Products of the European Medicines Agency since 2004. And the topic is European regulation of herbal health products. Now, Anna, please, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the organization for this for this invitation. It's an honor for me, and also, of course, to Infarmed. It's the National Authority for Medicines and Healthcare Products. So it will be a pleasure to talk to you about these regulations in the European Union. It's very good that we have several medicinal plants that can be used for treating or preventing some diseases, but of course we have a big problem. Even if you know that some plant or some medicinal plant is good to treat something, how can we make, as a company or as a research lab, provide to the public this product as a medicine? And of course, in the European Union, we have a set of regulations, basic regulations that we must follow. We have the basic directive, it's Directive 2001/93, with several amendments. I will not go through them, but one of them is very important. It was published in 2004, and it's the Directive 2004/24 that amends the original regulation, the directive relating to traditional herbal medicinal products registration that could be possible afterwards, after this publication. And of course, we have also another regulations that are applicable, but these are the basic regulations. And in the European Union, we have the possibility to have medicines available for the people through several procedures. We have a decentralized procedure that's managed by the European Medicines Agency, and we have also national procedures that are managed by the member states, the national authorities for medicines in each member state. And the decentralized procedure is different because the products that arrive on the market with this kind of authorization are authorized by the European Commission, and all the process is managed by the European Medicines Agency. And once it's approved by the European Commission, can be put on the market in every countries in the European Union. So it's one authorization valid for all the European Union. And we have, after that, several types of national procedures, the only national, or what is called about mutual recognition or decentralized procedures that involve several member states at the same time. So there are several possibilities. The centralized procedure is mandatory for some types of medicines, for biotech medicines, for orphan medicinal products, advanced therapy medicinal products, and also for new active substances that are used for treating these diseases that are there displayed. So in these cases, it's mandatory to apply for a centralized procedure. Maybe you could think that the herbal medicines could not reach this type of procedure, but we have some examples. For instance, this product, it's derived from the ananas famoso. I think everybody knows ananas and bromelain. It's a concentrate of proteolytic enzymes enriched in bromelain that are used for an orphan disease. We have also more recently this extract of betula bark that can be used for another orphan disease, epidermolysis bullosa, and it was approved recently. And we have also a very well-known product, Epidiolex, that's derived. This is a very, very purified extract. It's cannabidiol, CBD, that's used also for an orphan disease. And in this way, these types of medicines, even if they are herbal, can be authorized via the centralized procedure. So, okay, sorry. We have several types of registrations and authorizations, and through the procedure for a marketing authorization for our medicinal products, the authorities can request a complete dossier that we call a full application, or a mixed application that companies have some own studies, or for instance, clinical studies or toxicological studies. But we can also have well-established marketing authorizations that are based on data that are published and available in the literature, published literature. And we have a simplified registration that was put in place by this directive that I told you, 2004-24. And for this kind of registrations, special requirements apply that I will explain a little bit later. So, as you see, you can have several distinct modes for a medicine to be put on the market. We have the centralized that I already told you the examples. So we have also probably the most used for herbal medicines is the well-established use via decentralized procedures. We have Sativex, it's cannabis extract. We have Veregen, it's a green tea extract that is used for treating genital warts. We have also several medicines with, for instance, ginkgo biloba, valerian, sen. So we have lots of medicines that are put on the market through this kind of authorization. And we also have, as I told you, the traditional use registration. We could think that traditional use is a very good procedure, and I think it is, because it's easy for us to know and to understand that we have all parts of the world have used herbal medicines for treatment since the humanity, I think, has been years since we are on the earth. So it's easy to find information about the medicinal use of several plants. These ones are enfim, very typical from each continent that I put there. And of course, we have several published books and articles that talk about the traditional use of herbal medicines in all parts of the world. I think it's possible to find. But to use an herbal medicine, and as I think you know, phytotherapy is no longer based solely on the traditional use, and more it must be supported by all the aspects of quality, safety, and efficacy, because the traditional use, it's not by per se a synonym of safety. So we must demonstrate all these kinds of parameters to have a medicinal product on the market. So quality, in fact, is the basis of reproducibility and safety and efficacy in herbal medicinal products. So we can have simplified registrations for traditional use, but quality is never simplified. Quality of a dossier must be proved as for any other medicine, and I'm a quality assessor, so for me, demonstrate the quality of an herbal medicinal product, it's much more difficult to demonstrate the quality of usual one medicine with one constituent, one active substance. So quality is a big issue for herbal medicinal products, but it's the basis of the use of herbal medicines. So I think it's also important to highlight that we should be aware of the terminology that the European regulations used. So we talk about herbal substance. It's the part of the plant that is used for the treatment. About herbal preparation, the kind of preparations could be only the plant in C, could be an extract or essential oil, so any kind of preparation made using the herbal substance. And in the end, we have the herbal medicinal product that in general have several other constituents as excipients that are needed to put the medicine together and easy to use. So we have, as I told you, some specific concepts that this traditional use registration simplified procedure use. This procedure is applicable to traditional herbal medicinal products that fulfill several types of criteria. It's not that for herbal medicines that could reach all the data and could have all the data for having normal marketing authorization. It's not for homeopathic medicinal products, and it's not for animal derived products like propolis, fish oil, or metallic or mineral materials, because it must be used only for herbal medicinal products. So it's not possible to use other types of constituents. There are also several other important features. To apply for this traditional use registration, you must demonstrate that the herbal medicinal plant is used for more than 30 years in all over whatever part of the world. But 15 of these 30 years must be in the European Union. And also, and this is a very important requirement, the medicine is intended and designed for use without supervision of a physician or a medical doctor. So it's for self-care, it's for therapeutic indications that are not serious and do not oblige to a vigilance of a medical doctor to follow the treatment. So this is a kind of limitation that is imposed by the legislation. Should have a specified strength and this is easy to have a product that have, for instance, 200 milligrams of the herbal medicinal plant or 50 milligrams of an extract or whatever. So for a specified posology also and specific informations about the safe use of the plant. So for demonstrate the period of medicinal use, we should demonstrate that your product or a corresponding medicinal product has been used, as I told you, for 30 years, 15 of this in the European Union. So sometimes it's not very easy to demonstrate that the medicine that you want to put on the market has been in use for this time of the elapsed. But you can try to demonstrate that a kind of similar product was on the market. And this use it's not required that to be a marketing authorization, as we call it now. It could be used by demonstrated by the traditional literature, so it does not oblige to have a marketing authorization issued by an authority. So it's used not as medicine, but the traditional use of the plant. And also, as I told you, it's very important that the therapeutic indications that you choose for your product should not be what we call serious therapeutic indications, because this is not acceptable. And as I put there some examples that to be easier. For instance, you cannot say that some, for instance, the leaves of the olive tree are used at least here in Europe for treating hypertension. So we cannot put that in that indication in a monograph. For traditional use, you cannot put that. So it's not possible. There are only indications that can be for self-limiting diseases, not. And also, the literature that is put on the product, the package leaflet and the medicinal product characteristic should have a disclaimer saying that this medicine is a traditional herbal medicinal product used for something, and the product is for use in a specified indication that is exclusively based upon long-standing use. This was, when the directive was published, a requirement of the big pharma companies that wanted to be clear for the consumers that these medicines essentially doesn't have clinical trials. So this is kind of disclaimer to people know that this authorized registration, it's only based on traditional use of the plant. And of course, if the symptoms persist or worse during the treatment, we should consult a medical doctor to verify if everything is good. Regarding the documentation that should be supplied to the authorities, we have, I think probably everybody has already heard about the common technical document. That is a format agreed between all the major world areas, so the Europe, the America, Japan, and we have this format, and to put the information about safety, quality, and preclinical studies is the same. Only the module 1, that is the information required for each area of the world, is different. But to facilitate the appliance for the medicinal product, the format is the same in all the areas. So we have module 2 with the resumes of the several parties. The module 3, it's quality. Module 4, it's preclinical safety. and Module 5, the clinical information. And as I told you, for herbal medicinal products, quality is very important. So we have published several guidelines about quality of herbal medicinal products. They are very important, and it's quite an achievement to comply with all these guidelines. Just to try to explain to you, all the herbal medicinal products, whatever the via that they follow to be put on the market, they must demonstrate compliance with these good practices for agriculture, for good manufacturing practice for medicines. Quality control is the same also, whatever the via that is followed. Safety and efficacy can be demonstrated using different requirements. For traditional use, it's only the literature that we need to, or bibliographic information. For well-established applications should be bibliographic information about efficacy and safety. And for new medicines, new products should have tests about clinical trials and preclinical safety. So it's kind of different, the documents that we need to compile and to put in the dossier. Of course, the information for the consumers and for the medical doctors is also the same. It's for all the products, and pharmacovigilance also applied to all these kind of registrations. If you have the time, you can read this article. It's a very good article written by German colleagues of the BfArM, German Authority for Medicines, about this traditional use registration. The directive 2004-24, forgive me, also instituted in the European Medicines Agency, the Committee on Herbal Medicinal Products, that has the task to establish European Union monographs and draft list entries to provide scientific opinion and guidance documents with the objective of harmonization, of course, of the European market, and to facilitate marketing authorization and registration. You can consult these herbal monographs and also the guidelines published by the HMPC on the site of the European Medicines Agency. Just for your information, since the committee was created in 2004, in September 2004, and until now, has already published 170 herbal monographs, but only 14 list entries, because the major difference between the monographs and the list entries is that a substance can only be put and classified as a list entry if the Herbal Medicinal Products Committee thinks that all the problems or doubts that could exist about the safety of that preparation are already answered. So it's safe to use that product. And if you applied for a traditional use registration, saying that your product is in this one list entry, basically we have only to submit the quality dossier, because the national authorities cannot ask you for more data about the safety of your preparation. Can ask in some cases more information about the safety of the final herbal medicinal product, because sometimes the excipients could have some problems. So, but not about the safety of the herbal preparation in itself. And we also have 24 public statements. These public statements are published usually when the committee try to have a monograph on some herbal medicinal plant, and in the end concludes that there is not enough data to find an adequate therapeutic indication or to have some safety problems. So in these cases, the result of the work of the committee is a public statement. And of course, there are several guidelines and other documents. We have also, of course, also the European Pharmacopoeia that works in the quality area of the medicines in the European Union. About medicinal plants, as you see now in the European Pharmacopoeia, we have almost 400 monographs about herbal medicines. Most of them are plant parts. We have, of course, a good number of extracts and essential oils, but we can find several already published monographs, and several of them are about Chinese herbal drugs that are used also in Europe. So, just to finish, what makes these traditional herbal medicinal products so special, because they have a proven efficacy and reproducible quality that's kind of mandatory. They also have demonstrated safety about preclinical, not clinical studies usually, but sometimes with preclinical studies. And they have an adequate information available for the patients. So just to finish, to talk to you briefly about the problems that we have in the European Union about what we call the borderline products, because we have medicines that are substance or combination of substance, this definition that is here, that is intended to treat, prevent, or diagnose a disease. But we can also have several other types of products that could be mimicking the functions of a medicinal product, like cosmetics, for instance. Several creams sometimes or ointments could be confused with medicine. It's kind of, for instance, arnica creams, that arnica is approved as medicine, but can be used also in several cosmetics. Of course, food supplements, it's a big issue, because food supplements could have health claims, but not therapeutic indications, because the only product besides the medicinal products that can say that are designed to treat or prevent disease are medical devices. But for medical devices, we should demonstrate that the main action is not achieved by pharmacological means, but it's achieved by a physical means, not by pharmacological means. And sorry for a little more time that I have. Forgive me. Thank you for your attention, but I'm available for questions if later.
Professor Martins introduced the history of the traditional herbal use and the regulation of the herbal health products and the regulation of the herbal products in Europe. Very interesting topic. Thank you very much. And the next speaker is Miao Lin from Tianjin University of Traditional Chinese Medicine. And Miao Lin is a Deputy Director of Sino-Italian Traditional Chinese Medicine Joint Lab and the Director of Biology Department, TCM Institute, and the member of the Traditional Chinese Medicine and Natural Medicine Pharmacology Professional Committee of the Chinese Pharmacological Society, member of the Cardiovascular Disease Professional Committee of the Tianjin Society of Integrated Chinese and Western Medicine. And her topic is unraveling the antivirus and immune regulatory role of traditional Chinese medicine, 宣废拜读 prescription. Now, Miao Lin, please.
Thank you so much for the introduction from Professor Cui. It's my honor to be here again, the second time after 4 months. I'm very appreciated for the invitation from Jiangxi University of Chinese Medicine, as well as Faculty of Pharmacy in Lisbon University. So, good morning, everyone. Today, I will talk about the antiviral and immunoregulatory role of a traditional Chinese prescription named 宣肺败毒. So as previous reporters mentioned a lot, the herbs have been widely used all over the world, not only in China. So it's easily to recognize them in supermarkets. You can see there are quite a lot of herb teas, just as an example. In China, you know, the TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, have very long history in human being used. That means we have already formed different kind of several race, which corresponding to different kind of diseases. So currently, the main test for TCM researchers will be combine the modern technology together with the classical TCM ceremony, and then try to recover or try to uncover the role and the mechanism involved whenever the TCM help people prevent of the diseases. Okay, today I would like to focus on a formula named 宣肺败毒. It is a relative big formula, contains of 13 herbs. Here are they. So this herbs is derived in 2020, early 2020, when the COVID-19 epidemics in the world. So it is developed by academic Zhang Boli, which was then awarded as a human hero by President Xi in China. So it is not a long history use for 宣肺败毒, but based on the clinical data, we can easily find that after 宣肺败毒 taken, the negative RT-PCR days as well as the hospital days were significantly downregulated. So that means this 宣肺败毒may have contributed to prevention the viral infection as well. So then we further observed that 宣肺败毒 also increased the number of lymphocytes and also reduced the C-reaction proteins, which give us a full indication that it may have a potential role in immunoregulation during the COVID-19 patients. And this here, after 1 year, more than 1 year, this 宣肺败毒 prescription has successful got approval by the Chinese National Medical Products Administration, which is also considered as the Chinese FDA. So currently, you can easily have this 宣肺败毒 product in the hospital or even in the pharmacy. So not only in China, this prescription have also finished some overseas registration. For example, in 2021, we got approval by the Canada Natural and Over-Counter Health Products Administration for marketing. Then we also finished the registration step in Uzbekistan, and also got approval by the US FDA for the second stage clinical research. So today, I would like to discuss or give some idea how we found out the pharmacological research and the efficiency of 宣肺败毒 in the animal model and also in the cellular and molecular levels. As mentioned by Professor Yang yesterday, we know that the viral infection always been a major threat to human health. So not only the SARS-CoV-2, but yeah, in the history, there are different kind of virus that can infect the people's health. Then the clinical presentation that always associated with the respiratory tract. So here you can see, here you can see that when the virus infect at the very beginning, there is hardly to detect because there is no typical symptoms. But then after a few days, whenever the virus finished the replication, not finish, or reach a high level of replication, then the immune system activated. So first is the innate immune system reaction, and then comes quite a lot of cytokines being produced and secreted, and then the body also have some endemic immune responses. So here is a detail on the immune response in viral pneumonia. You can see that whenever the body recognizes the pathogens such as SARS-CoV-2, it always first causes a lymphopenia stage. That means some kind of immunocells, including lymphocyte T cells, as well as the NK, the natural killing cells. The number of them are decreased at the very beginning, and then the macrophages are activated, and the function or the recruitment be activated. Then a series of pro-inflammatory cytokines as well as the chemokines are produced and secreted. Then it comes from the blood to the target tissue, such as the lung tissue. There will cause a cytokine storm, which means that the huge number of cytokines will be produced, and this finally induce the pneumonia. So our idea at the very beginning is first identify what's inside the prescription of 宣肺败毒. So we used the UPLC Q-TOP method and identified more than 100 individual aeropics in the prescription. And then we focus on the tissue distribution. In the lung tissue, there are different kinds of compounds, such as flavonoid, the phenolic acids. And also in the blood, there are also several kinds of compounds being identified. So we think that they are the library which may contribute to their clinical efficiency. Then we start from the beginning whenever the viral infection starts. So just as I mentioned, at the very beginning, the body always have a lymphopenia stage. That means the lymphocytes as well as the NK cells number is decreased. Then the body face in an immunosuppressive stage. So consider of this, we established a cytoplasma cyclophosphamide-induced immunosuppressive mice model. What we found is 宣肺败毒 increase the spleen index, the silin index. Then the HE staining also shown that 宣肺败毒help to block the spleen as well as thymus tissue damages. Then comes the cytokines level. During the immunosuppressive stage, the cytokines level is inhibited, and 宣肺败毒 increase this kind of cytokines production. Then we measure the T cell proliferation. So as we expected, 宣肺败毒 increased the T cell number, the total T cells number, as well as the CD4 positive and CD8 positive cell numbers. Okay, then we go to the next stage whenever the innate immune system is activated. So we use IgG to induce the acute lung injury in mice. So what we found is the complement system is overactivated. So you can see the main component including C3A, C5A, as well as their receptors are highly expressed in the lung tissue. And then several cytokines, such as the IL-6, IL-1 beta, TNF-alpha, the levels of them are also very high levels. And Xuanfei-Baidu downregulated the production of them in tissues, in lung tissues, as well as the macrophages. Then we employ another acute lung injury model, which is quite classic. It's LPS-induced. So what we found is similar like IgG-induced acute lung injury, that Xuanfei-Baidu obviously protected the lung tissue from the LPS-induced acute lung injury. So you can see the micro-CT data as well as the HE staining. Then we also found Xuanfei-Baidu significantly inhibited the inflammatory cytokines secretion as well. I didn't go to details for the signaling we found, just show you the efficiency due to the time limits. Then here comes to the next step. We would like to know which kind of signaling or which kind of mechanism involved during the prevention of the lung injury. So we use RNA-seq assay. What we found is there are quite a lot of genes related to the macrophages function being different, expressed after Xuanfei-Baidu expression. That means, or that indicated that maybe macrophages are one of the important mechanism involved in Xuanfei-Baidu's effect. So from the mice, we then go to the next step using the REW cells and the zebrafish to focus on the macrophages. So here we treat the REW cells, which is typical macrophages. We treat the cells with the polyassay to activate the macrophages. And then we screen the certain herbs in the Xuanfei-Baidu prescriptions. So we found several herbs which have strong inhibition for the macrophages activation. And also we go through for the active compounds. So you can see there are 3 compounds which have very strong inhibited effect in a dose-dependent manner. So in that way, we think that maybe these 3 active compounds contributes to the inhibition much in a very high extent. Then for the zebrafish model, we use this, we labeled the macrophage in green color. So you can see that when we treat a fish with our candidates, the color, the green color moved from the whole body, but to the tail position. That means the migration is inhibited, okay? And the red color is just a positive, negative control, which is used to label the neutrophils. So together here, we think that Xuanfei-Baidu inhibited the lung injury made through the macrophages, made by the regulation of macrophages function. Oh, sorry. Okay, then another story is about one of the herbs within the Xuanfei-Baidu. The name is, oh, sorry. The name is Verbena officinalis, or short for VO extract. What we found is this extract reduced the lung injury and decreased the levels of inflammatory cytokines in an influenza-inflected model acute lung injury. That means the VO extract may be one of the important herbs in the Xuanfei-Baidu prescription. Okay, and then we moved our idea to the NK cell functions. So you know that the function of NK can kill the target cells. So what we did is we measured the NK cell proliferation. So you can see that the VO extra promotes the maturation and the activation of NK cells in the lung in response to viral infection. So that's one of the very exciting data. Then continuously, we identify the compounds inside the VO extract, and then we employed a 2D, 3D real-time killing platform. This can high throughput and high content mirror the NK functions. So here you can see the green color. This is target cells. Whenever it's undergoing apoptosis, it's always have the green color. But in other state, when it's healthy, alive, the color is yellow. So we will measure the different kind of compounds identified from the UPLC data, and then we found that there are several compounds within VO can reduce, can increase the NK cells killing efficiency, such as this. And within these three, this one, the C63 named verbenectin, is the most strongest effect. So then we go into details about how the verbenectin accelerate the killing process by NK cells with the target cells. So here you can see that the required time for the NK cell to kill the target cells were highly reduced after treatment with this compound verbenectin. And then we also measured the number of target cells at the same time. So you can see that after treatment with this verbenectin, the number of target cells per each NK cells increased very significantly. This is so, and of course, we also measured the cell proliferation and toxic protein, which show that the verbenectin has no cytotoxic effect on the NK cells as well as the target cells itself. Okay, so that's the immunoregulatory steps. So we also try to identify the viral and the target interaction. So you know, at the very beginning when SARS-CoV-2 infect the target cells, their spike protein need first recognize and bind the receptor on the target cell surface. And this is a very important step for the infection. So our idea is try to screen and figure out whether there are some compounds within the 宣肺败毒 which can prevent or block the binding between the S protein or the spike protein with the receptor ACE2. So here I show you one of the compound named lutein. It obviously inhibited the interaction between these two proteins. So we did the in vitro assay. You can see the RBD domain in the S protein with the ACE2 interaction has been inhibited by the lutein stimulation. And then we did the SPR staining, SPR assay. You can easily see that the lutein can bind the S protein as well as ACE2 directly. Okay, that's all the in vitro data. Then we do the pseudoviral assay, which we can say that lutein help to neutralizing the virus infection. Okay, because we don't have the biology safety laboratory, so we use this one just instead. Okay, and then we also use a function assay, platelet spreading assay. So for this project, S protein also need to recognize their receptor ACE2. What we found is lutein successful block this platelet splending. Interestingly, we also measure other enzymes which involved in the viral entrance as well as the replication steps. So not only the ACE2 binding to the S protein, but also other enzyme activities, including the TMPRSS2, C3CL, and also ACE2 activity were inhibited by the lutein. That's the molecular docking data to predict the binding between the compounds with the receptor, with the proteins. So last one is another compound named athlete AC. So this is very interestingly, it cannot block the wild type binding to his receptor, but it can very strongly inhibit the binding of Delta and Omicron virus to the ACE2 receptor, which indicated that the compounds may have their specific and the specific effect on blocking the interaction between. Okay, so here come to the end. I would like to thank all the collaboration, including the Zhejiang University, the Sayre University in Germany, as well as Tsinghua and Guangdong Medical Universities. Thanks a lot for your attention. Okay.
There are three formulas and three medicines against the COVID-19 in China, and Xuanfei Baidu granules belongs to one of the three formulas. And Professor Miao addressed the mechanism and the potential antivirus mechanism of Xuanfei Baidu granules, and to help us to better understand the efficacy in the treatment of the various diseases. Thank you very much. Next speaker is Professor Beatrice Lima. Sorry for my bad pronunciation. And the topic is regulatory aspects and safety in phytotherapy. Now, Lima, please.
Thank you, Professor. We get this? Micro is on, I guess, but the slide's not. The slide. Thank you. So, good morning again. Is it working? Yes. Good morning again. And I think that my presentation will somehow be a bit complementary, and I will not deviate so much from what Dr. Ana Paula Martins has said already about the regulatory aspects on herbal medicines. Simply, I will go in some areas a bit further because I will specify better the studies. And but I have here several regulatory aspects that then I can waive and allow you to go to coffee break without too much punishment. So, as Dr. Ana Paula Martins has said already, the regulations that are in place and the regulation for medicines, and this regulation is the regulation 2001-83 EC. Then it had several amendments, and it deals with also bringing herbal medicines to the market with the regulatory aspects, that regulatory pathways that are there, and starts by defining medicinal product, and I would say that with the adaptations of the type of product that a herbal medicinal product is, the main definition fits both the small molecule or the conventional medicines and the herbal medicinal products, because a conventional medicine will say that the medicinal product is any substance or combinations that have properties and are used for treating or preventing disease on human beings. And of course, that herbal medicinal products are the same. The point is that they are composed for exclusively of ingredients of being one or more herbal substances. So it's the origin that makes the difference between a medicinal product and a herbal medicinal product according to the directive. And that means also that several of the pathways and several of the requirements are the same. And then what is different is the adaptation to the knowledge that exists already to the requirements for a herbal medicinal product to be registered and accepted as such. As Dr. Ana Paula was saying, so the pathways to register a medicinal product in the market on a herbal medicinal product will be the traditional, the well-established use, and the stand-alone or mixed application. I don't think we have traditional use for small molecules. No, neither for biologics, nor for advanced therapies, nothing. So here the difference is that for herbal medicines, we have the well-established use. As for the other medicines, we have standalone or mixed applications applying to medicines. The issue is that whether they are very much used. And then we have the traditional, which is specific for the herbal medicines. Authorities who will decide are the same as for small molecules. Well, we talk about the European Medicines Agency. We are talking about Europe, of course. European Medicines Agency that has a committee for herbal medicinal products that takes care of studying the information and putting together information available for herbal medicines, and then the decisions on how much is available to decide whether they can be classified as traditional or the information that can be used then later on in the monographs to support also the well-established or other types of authorizations. And there is the Committee of Human Medicinal Products that will decide on the marketing authorization. And I presume, as far as I remember from my 20 many years of being there, that maybe attempts to register as centralized applications of herbal medicines, not even Epidiolex. It's a herbal medicine, yeah? It's a tetrahydrocannabinol, so it's the active substance, but it's not a herbal medicine, is it? But it has been, because I was really looking at this one, I had been even giving some advice on Epidiolex, but I don't think it was registered as a herbal medicine, was it? No, as centralized. So my point is that I think that we might not have many stories to tell you about centralized applications through the European system. So they are going mainly for registration through national competent authorities, through these other procedures which are well-established use or decentralized procedures. Then the quality is taken by EDQM. And so national competent authorities in Portugal is Infarmed, with Dr. Ana Paula Martins there taking care of this issue mostly. So is what is happening. Interestingly, the development, I think it's very interesting when we start discussing, we saw here and we see here a lot of pharmacology being described for many products which are recognized as being used with evidence of clinical efficacy, and then you come back to the bench to look at the mode of action and to characterize what is the reason for those effects. And we have seen here fantastic, beautiful, and very convincing stories, and especially very comprehensive, true lessons of pharmacology here. But for a new product, a small molecule, normally the path is you start from brain, on the conceptions, thinking on the effect. So discovering a molecule or a group of molecules or an entity, could be a biologic, could be advanced therapy, whatever. Then a lot of tests are being done to prove what we have seen here, but at the other phase, here, that's where we start, looking at the pharmacology, trying to check for the effects. It would be a story that would make another presentation. And then when these effects in vitro, in cells, and some even unacceptable activities are tested, like mutagenicity, in vitro reprotox, or some effects on hERG channels in the heart, then the molecule is decided that could fill the conditions to progress into the development as a medicinal product based. What? I'm seeing myself, but I'm not seeing my slide. Why? I don't want to see me, I want to see my slide. Pedro, help. Sorry. So I was saying anyway that when there is the conditions are there and have been shown, thank you, Pedro, for the conditions are there to develop the molecule as a medicinal product, then there is a lot of preclinical studies that have to be conducted to support the safe use of this drug later on in the clinical, through the clinical research and the clinical trials. And these are the toxicology studies, these are the pharmacology, obviously, but these are also the pharmacokinetics, and then they go to the clinical trials through all these stages. When we are talking about a herbal medicine, and Chinese medicines are the same, so a herbal medicine, normally there is evidence from the clinical, the traditional, the conventional use, the history of use, and then you go back. It's the other way around. You start here, and you go back to the bench, then to clarify and to generate convincing evidence that it has a pharmacological effect, that how it works in the body, what the body does to it, so the pharmacokinetics and the toxicology. It's exactly the other way around. One way or the other, that information, experience on the clinical, experience on the pharmacology, on kinetics, safety, efficacy, whatever, when submitting a marketing authorization through any type of route, the traditional use, the well-established, the decentralized, whatever, they will have to be compiled, as Dr. Ana Paula Martins was referred also, in a document that has been agreed and built under the so-called International Conference of Harmonization at that time, now called International Council on Harmonization for Technical Issues for Medicines, which is the common technical document. And you will need to fulfill all this information, the regional one in the module 1, the module 2 with the quality, and then documents which are non-clinical overview and non-clinical summaries, which somehow are the basis for, or are based on the monographs, plus additional information that can be collected, and the same for the clinical overviews and summaries. And then the detailed information that might be available, which might be just bibliographic information, so all the references that you have been using, or data from studies that might have been generated by the industry, by the company. And this will form the module 4 with the non-clinical study reports and the clinical study reports, which might be bibliographic also, so bibliography if we want. Oh my God. Okay. So the monographs, as Dr. Ana Paula Martins was saying, might be the basis for the building the information that will support the registration of the medicinal product, and the more comprehensive they are, and they have to be approved by the Herbal Medicines Committee, so it will be built by the experts and approved by them, and they will incorporate there what the herbal product is used for, the so-called indication, the patient population, and also safety information on undesirable effects and interactions. And I presume that quality is part of the, yeah. So, and will be part of the dossier. Quality will be a specific aspect that will be, let's say, dedicated to each product. So it's more case-based, I would say. These monographs, if other documents are generated, which might be even more comprehensive than the monograph, they will be added and they are published together to the public assessment reports on the herbal medicine, the substance and products. They will include all this non-clinical, clinical, and the long-standing experience. It will have to be stated there, and then they will be the basis for the information that is going to be given to the patients through the summary of product characteristics and the patient leaflet, which is a document that exists also exactly like this for the conventional medicines. Traditional use, I was checking with Professor Olga, making the comparison of these indications. So I am more a woman of conventional medicines than herbals. So it has been a very interesting story. And for me, it's a fantastic exercise just to make all this work in comparing both types of medicines. For the traditional use, the indication will always state, also in the monograph, that this preparation is traditionally used for. And this is when it is traditional use, classified as traditional use. And obviously, to be classified as traditional use, it will have at least 30 years, as was said, of experience, with 15 at least in the EU. So it will be the quality, the safety, the therapeutic claims, and most important, it cannot be used, I would say, it cannot need to be used with medical supervision, which means that any parenteral administration would not be accepted for traditional use. And as said, well, EMA, we don't have so much experience on that, if any, so the regulatory authorities will be the national competent taking care of that, depending with the several procedures. I guess that we said what is the difference between national, decentralized, and mutual recognition. So national is just going to one country and asking for authorization. It's just that country. Portugal says yes and gets it. Later on, the company might want to apply into other countries, and then Portugal could be the coordinator, the rapporteur for this, make a report with the experience existing in Portugal to be applied to the other countries and to assessed by other countries, and then several other countries will be accepting. And this is the mutual recognition procedure. And the decentralized is when the company, for the first time, puts the project at the same time in several countries at the same time, and they evaluate together. Normally, if there is this traditional use accepted, so the product is in the list already and the monographs are appropriate, then clinical data and clinical trials are not required to attest neither safety nor efficacy, and non-clinical data might not be needed also. However, there might be situations where there might be some hints that there could be a gene tox, or gene tox has not been completely clarified, or some effects on reproductive toxicity needing to be addressed, or carcinogenicity. So we are not talking about clinical, but we are talking about doubts that might emerge from the use, or evidence that there is no data available for this information, and then it might be requested. So non-clinical could be requested, although very often what exists could be considered acceptable. Then, progressing to the well-established use or standalone or mixed marketing applications. So the well-established use is what I said. One product is approved in one member state, and then it will be applied based on that experience to others, and the other countries will recognize, the other member states will recognize the experience in that member state. So it's mutual recognition of information. For mutual recognition, the product should be in that member state at least 10 years in the EU, so it's not 30 for the traditional, it's 10 years, which means that when the indication comes, it does not say traditionally used or traditional indication, the traditional is taken out. And sometimes we think, okay, it's not traditional, so it's better. I'm not so sure. It means that there is less experience. It could be, anyway, the approval based on the documentation that exists from literature, and this could be clinical information, efficacy and safety, bibliographic mostly, and non-clinical studies somehow is more or less the same. If there is sufficient information, they could be accepted as not being conducted, but if there are doubts, non-clinical studies might be needed. And for the standalone or mixed marketing applications, where the standalone might mean that you are wanting to develop this herbal medicinal product, you will make all the studies. Clinical, pharmacology, preclinical, pharmacology, pharmacokinetics, preclinical, clinical. So you are not using bibliographic data. Or mixed marketing application, it means that you can use both. Some preclinical, sometimes the mixed marketing applications, even for the small molecules. We look at proof of concept, for instance, the pharmacology, very often the non-clinical, and then one clinical trial could be conducted to show the indication. Could be one way to make the mixed marketing application. Other times, complement the toxicology with, as said, gene tox, repro are most common situations that could happen. And competent authority is the same. So just a little bit more detail before finalizing, because this has been one of the first guidelines in the area of the clinical, the lab studies. I'm not talking about quality, that have been coming and negotiated at that time between the herbal medicinal products and the conventional part of the committees at the EMA, the so-called Safety Working Party, what can be done in terms of preclinical studies to address the safety of herbal medicinal products. And if genotoxicity emerged as one of the first ones, genotoxicity is performed for all pharmaceuticals, so also for herbals. So if the studies are not conducted, it should be justified. It should be addressed. It has to be there. And for those with well-established use, if there is no data available or the mixed marketing applications, then genotoxicity studies have to be conducted. And one aspect which is very relevant and raises a lot of difficulty sometimes are the impurities. So when you are making your preparations and gene tox products could emerge or impurities would emerge, and this is not unique for the herbals, it's also a big issue for the conventional medicines, then impurities need to be addressed also for gene toxicity. Nitrosamines are putting the brains of the regulators in Europe very hot because they have to work a lot on the studies to invent studies for nitrosamines and to cover all. And it makes sense for the herbals because we know that there are many products which have really this genotoxicity. And it's also very interesting how the justifications sometimes are performed for the combination of the actives, because the combination of the actives might simply, through the interactive mechanisms, control the potential genotoxicity or mutagenicity observed with one entity in separation, and this should be addressed if needed. So I have quercetin in one product, but I would need to look at quercetin in isolation. I know it is genotoxic, but I would like to know whether that pharmaceutical product, which is a herbal and has there some quercetin, whether genotoxicity will still emerge for that. And this is something that could be a valid question by a regulator. And looking, normally it comes from regulators. And the reproductive toxicity is the same. I would dare to say that maybe this is an exacerbation of the concern, because possibly the most wise way, a common way to address reproductive toxicity is to decide that this type of product should not be used in pregnancy. But anyway, it's important to know, it's not enough to say don't use in pregnancy, it's important to justify, and if you use, what would happen. And that's what reproductive toxicities are, and they are for small molecules, they should be for these herbal medicines also. They will address through very well established studies and protocols in this guideline, which is ICH S5, it goes already in the revision 2, it will look at aspects on fertility, male and female, embryo phytotoxicity, which I would say is the fundamental, so you don't want a pregnant woman, early pregnancy, taking something that will damage the embryo and the conceptus and in the critical stage, and then the fetal development and the development of progeny. So this issue of should we be treating children with herbals just like this, and from when? Why they should be and when are not necessary. They would not be necessary if there is strong data from epidemiology on use in the different stages of reproductive function to show that there is no concern, no effects emerged. Also from literature addressing this topic and now systematic reviews, AI will help a lot to address this in a comprehensive way. It could be that the drug could be, there could be investigations in pregnant women, registries that could cover some malformations or whatever, and then looking at what has been behind, and then these drugs could be, these medicines could emerge. There are situations where the indication would not cover even women in childbearing potential, classical one, postmenopausal women or men. And the clinical overview anyway should address always the potential effect on women on childbearing potential. That's part of the documentation. It has to be there. So, in principle, you are not going to ask for fertility studies unless there is a cause for concern. Someone who is classically taking and chronically taking a certain product has shown fertility problems, and this is published, and then a concern was raised. The embryo fetal and peripostnatal development, I would dare to say that it should be assessed. I would dare to say that information should be very scarce in this area, and therefore, or it is tested, or the decision is caution should be applied. You should not be using this. And if you think that you are pregnant, you are going to become, you are becoming pregnant. So don't take it. And some positive signals in literature could happen. So you might need then to justify that, or simply decide not to use and put it in the labeling. Why teratogenicity could happen with these products? Because direct effect in the fetus, transplacental passage in the embryo or the fetus, hormonal imbalances which could even impact in early stages of implantation or embryo development. Abortion, we know a lot of cases of abortion, herbs that would be used used to induce abortion. And maternal toxicity, and then how maternal toxicity would damage the fetus. And this is not unique for herbals, it's for herbal. And some substances, small molecules or herbal medicines, are known that they might have different effects in non-pregnancy and during pregnancy. So I would dare to say, avoid this kind of medicines in pregnancy. They might be too complex, and pregnancy is also, so two complex situations together might lead to troubles. There are very many examples of herbals with potential reproductive toxicity, as I said, and the information that is available for a long time, small molecules, herbals will be the same, will drive then what is written in SPC. So based on what will be the exposure, what is the impact of the herbal on the pregnancy, what is the impact of the pregnancy in the herbal, which are potential mechanisms, if it's a direct harm in the conceptus or if it is the maternal, and this will go to the information for the patient, the SMPC and the patient leaflet. And will drive also the decision on whether avoiding or not the drug to be given in pregnant women. So the administration in pregnancy, that is also subject to a guideline guideline on human reproduction effects from data to labeling, is a guideline produced by the European Medicines Agency, by CHMP, that drives the conditions that would allow or not a drug to be contraindicated in pregnancy. Again, I would say a herbal medicinal product. It is difficult, at least by now here in Europe, to have one registered in one indication where the use of the product would be fundamental for the pregnant woman, because it could happen. And that's when, during pregnancy, contraindication will be avoidable. For small molecules, if you have an oncology product, even if you know that it could damage the fetus, it's up to the mother, it's up to the patient and to the family and to the physician to decide what to do with that medicine in the pregnant woman. Take it, don't take it, avoid it, don't avoid it, just which type of risks the engaged people are ready to run, I would say. And this is what drives, and that's why some products are not contraindicated, although they are known to be noxious to, especially to the fetus. I don't think this could be applying too much to the herbal medicines a priori. And the same with carcinogenicity. Well, we know the case of aristolochia and all the bladder cancer and renal cancer that happened with these women who were wanting to lose weight because of a mistake on the species that has been incorporated. So cases might exist. So depending on existent information or the information is there, and I would say that the carcinogenic drug, again, there might be no indication that would justify the use, but it might be different, regionally different, the decision. But if there is suspicion or it should be, carcinogenicity must be addressed in the common technical document. It will have to be addressed. It doesn't mean that it has to be tested. It means that there will be a review of literature to see whether there is a potential for those products which are there to induce cancer and which type of mechanism, mutagenic, not mutagenic, just hormonal or whatever. And then the decision on whether a new study would be needed or not. Normally, no studies on carcinogenicity will be requested, but they could be requested. I think Epidiolex had carcinogenicity studies. It had. So the studies are complicated. I'm not going to talk about this, but these are long-term studies in rodents, rats, mice, transgenics, and they are guided. So concluding, I would say that the take-home messages, and together, these and Dr. Napal, because we were overlapping a lot, or I was overlapping with her, is that there are several procedures to bring herbal medicines to the market. They are well regulated. The information is comprehensive information is being compiled to justify the presence of these herbals in good conditions and the benefits. The evaluation benefit risks are done the same way as for small molecules. The compilation of information follows the same rules, although the extent of information and the sources might be different, but the common technical document should be used, and China is part of the ICH. So yes, it is it is applicable to China also. And then it's case-based. Some situations you might need some additional studies, other situations you might not need. And for each application, the CTD, the format is the same, the content might be different. And I thank you for listening.
And Professor Lima briefly introduced the regulatory aspects and safety in cytotherapy, including the requirement, clinical data, and the registration and the potential risks. A very interesting topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
The last speaker is Professor Anna Varela.
Yes.
Varela. Yes. And Professor and Dr. Anna Varela is coordinator of the bachelor's degree in traditional Chinese medicine at the Piaget.
Yes.
Thank you. Piaget Institute School of Health in Hamada, where she also teaches Chinese herbal medicines.
Yes.
She holds a master's degree in clinical traditional Chinese medicine, herbal medicine. Okay. And I have to switch my cell phone from time to time.
So good morning. First of all, I want to say my gratitude to the invitation for this conference that have been with high level, as we can see, to Professor Olgel and Faculty of Pharmacy, and extending my greetings to the Chinese professors that teach us a lot, and to all the assistants there. So my presentation is about, let me see if I can change. Okay. See if I can. So it's about the education of DCM herbal medicine. So as we talk about education, try to. So as is education, we have to have some objectives. So the first is to say something about the history of DCM in Portugal, how it appears, talk about the relation of the clinical and the teaching and also the research, and to present the clinical and the teaching of the school of where there is the first and the license bachelor degree in TCM. So the first is that our roots come from Macau, and the first license in traditional Chinese medicine was in 1938 in Macau. So it's like our roots there and cultural background influence the mainland. So the structure teaching of TCM come in the 19th with the first school, that is the Escola de Medicina Tradicional Chinesa, that is teaching today, is 5 years course. The Associação Portuguesa da Acupuntura, known as Pedro Choi course, Instituto de Medicina Tradicional, and the Institute of Naturologia. So these are the first schools that begin building the teaching knowledge of TCM. Of course, now we have an ecosystem where we have the early pioneer schools, we have the professional associations that developed a continuing education and ethical starts related to the European also federations, where there is the World Federation of Chinese Medicine and the European the Chinese Medicine Association. Also, a long-standing tradition of scientific and academic cooperation between China and Portugal that make this possible. If we don't have this exchange, we couldn't do that. Also, we see that there is mentorship, clinical mentorship of the clinical professors that have their own clinic in Portugal, and also some traditions, lineage like Jingfang Classic and Wang Yi that continue teaching in Portugal. And then as the result of this teaching, the public ask for the regulation of this area. So that is a petition to the government that makes the law possible. 80,000 people ask for this, and then we have the law, the main law that everybody knows, that is the 45 from 2003, and a lot of people is going to talk about that, and 71 of 2013. And this as the regulatory bodies that supervise the safety and the regulate of our profession. And we have now the first institute that has the first officially recognized undergraduate degree in TCM. And this was possible because of the work of all the others. We think that, and we wait that more appear. So it's a progress. We are glad to have this, but we are waiting for another ones. So I'm not talking about all this legislation because we will see that other speakers will talk, lectures will be about that. But for the teaching is important, the undergraduate education standards that have been established between different countries and makes the level of the teaching of TCM. And also the World Organization benchmarks of training of TCM. So then our course has to attain a certain level to be recognized by the Superior Director of Education in Portugal. Now that I'm beginning to talk about how the Piaget curriculum is built, I want to say that for this be possible, we are making a collaboration between the Piaget and the University of and the Faculty of Pharmacy and University of Lisbon in order that we can develop in a strong way and make a good bridges of knowledge that can make us go further in this project. So how is built this curriculum? There are 3 combinations and 3 integrations that are very, I think they are very, I will say, respect in China. That we use human experience with clinical vision and teaching, with the classics, but also education, clinical, and research. We join the human experience, clinical human experience, with the modern science. So the first years are the foundations, and you see that is teach biochemistry, materia medica, classic theory, disease mechanism, pathophysiology, botanic, pharmacology, but also psychology and human development. In the second and third year, integration, construction of formulas, pharmacognosia, TCM internal medicine, evidence-based casework, clinical observation, and in the last years, we prescribe the herbs. We do that in different diseases and specialty, and we have an advanced clinical internship and also community-based intervention, clinical case reporting, and a research project. So we see how this is working. It's a bit different from I have seen in Europe and even in China. So, but we have classical human knowledge, evidence and science, and clinical practice. And we will see how this works, because since the second year, we are involved in clinical practice. And what has to do with herbal medicine, in second year, they observed what is going on, what the clinical teachers do. They can participate by observing, by doing reports about herbs, what the teachers talk there, that to know what is the benefits, what is the indication, what is research about this herb, what she can bring us, but also see how this is applied in clinic, how the clinic use these herbs. After they can use in the third year, they can join, they can attend use of the decoctions, the granules that are, of course, you see that is a strict control, that are controlled. And then the advanced clinical internship, where the students are supervised, but they can prescribe the formulas, they can, respecting the safety protocols, the herbs and drugs interactions, all this, but they can do it with the supervision. So it's always linked to the clinical practice. So this is the evidence-based practice. You know that I have studied this for a long time because we know that is a big issue in our area. And the evidence-based begins because the doctors don't care about research. Is why appeared evidence-based, because they don't care, there is no, they don't look to the research. So this is very different in our area. We look to the research, but we apply the research to the context of the patient. We see the patient, we make the Chinese TCM diagnosis to the patient, we see the syndrome differentiation or pattern differentiation, and we adapt the research to the context of the patients. This is the big difference. We don't see the patient and prescribe. We see the patient, we do the Chinese diagnosis, we see the differentiation of symptoms, what happens with this patient, and we know how to prescribe the prescription, how to combine, to improve, because TCM is related to more to keep the health of the patient than to treat the disease. We maintain the health of the patient functionally and try to help to deal with the disease. So it's, you see that is, we develop also a critical thinking, making reports. When students do the reports, they go deep in the patient, because without making a report, it's very easy to make a prescription. And when we have to ask why and what is the consequence of that, this makes a very big difference. And they have to do this. Also, this is the third, applying science to community. So we have projects in the community. Okay, it's a preventive medicine. It's but we go to the student can go where they are more needed and make some differences. Make people know even the things we are talking about. People take herbs and don't know what they do. They take because the grandmother used, and we can say, no, use like that, use in this way. And this is very good lessons that we can give to our population. And we have this in different fields where the students are more close involved, because they come from different parts of Portugal. And in the last year, they have to make a research project and a clinical research. And I hope we can have, with the collaboration of the Faculty of Pharmacy, doing research also involving them, involving the universities in China, and make this possible. I don't going to talk much to this innovative differential pedagogy, but we know that we are in artificial intelligences. And I have to thank, because Hong Kong have done a bibliography of herbal medicine that we can use to see each herb. We can see what is going on with this herb, and things like that make the study more easy. But students also don't let the teacher sleep, because they are always asking us, appears this and appears this, and make us go much quicker than sometimes we can to correspond to this interest they have in herbs and these applications. So there is new methods, pedagogical methods to teach. And it's important, as we heard in all this conference, we don't go alone to any place. We need collaboration. We need to make relations with the Chinese universities, the Portuguese institution, in order that we can do all these things that we want, because some have this specialty, others have, we don't have pharmacies, others have Chinese medicine, others have laboratory, and we can work together to make this possible. So we tried that the assessment be more involved in case reports, direct observation, linked to the clinic, that we can have success, because the assessment is related to the people that we care, that we treat, or that we maintain the health. So why this success in this? Because we have 25 years of experience of teaching, but you know that in this era, the modernization is asking us more, and we have to update all our process, inclusive assessment ones. So we try to that the key and success factors happen because we have clinical exposure, a gradual progression, and this not only memorization of herbs. I don't know if you have experienced that. Is not very nice. It's nice to see the herb in the fields, but when we try to memorize all the indication, all the importance that we have to know about the plant, is better if you know how is applied, how we can help in our health, and this is the main success of this experience. So if we can collaborate and we can strengthen our relation, I think Portugal is the first to have this license in Europe, can help the other countries to make this connection and these bridges with all the collaboration. So it's with gratitude sharing this wisdom, science, and humanity. Thank you.
And Professor Varela shared her experience in herbal teaching. She mentioned the 3 combination, the theory learning, and the clinical exposure, and the classical wisdom. And she also mentioned the scientific evidence. Yes, very good idea, very good job. You have done much better than me. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, we have finished this session, and the next is a 20-minute coffee break. And after that, we'll come back later. Thank you very much.